Just in case you have to leave your home quickly, make sure every member of your family knows where it's located. If you have to leave your home for any emergency, the health and safety of your family and others around you is imperative. Most items will last for long periods of time, but be sure to pay attention to expiration dates and replace expired items as needed. Keep a copy of your family disaster plan with your kit so you always know what you need. We encourage you to visit hcflgov.net/staysafe for the latest updates and information, and to sign up for the HCFL Alert System.
So you have now completed your emergency plan for your family. How about a plan for this family member? Protect your pets during a disaster by including them in your family's emergency plan. Start by making your pet a disaster kit. Put all paperwork
just
into
pumping.
a large Ziploc bag.
Check.
A picture of you and
Mic
your
check,
pet,
1, 2,
your
3, 4,
contact
5.
information, vaccination information, and special care instructions. In addition, you should pack certain items to help your pet during the emergency. A 7-day supply of food with bowls, a travel crate, and your pet's favorite toy. Remember, shelters are the place of last resort. Your plan should include being far away from the disaster's epicenter. But if you do find yourself at the shelter, know the rules. Once at the shelter, your pet will be placed in a designated animal section. This is for your pet's safety, as well as other shelter residents. Knowing the shelter rules helps everyone stay safe during an emergency. For more information about shelters, their location, rules, and how to get ready for a disaster, go to hcflgov.net/staysafe.
Hillsborough County is dedicated to helping our residents with resources and relief as quick and safely as possible after a storm. Here's a few important tips we want you to remember. Be careful on the roads. Never drive through moving water or standing water. Turn around, don't drown. Floodwaters are not safe for wading or swimming. They may contain sewage or other hazards. Be aware of your surroundings. Keep an eye out for possible hazards like broken limbs, downed utility lines, and wild animals seeking high ground. Generators must be kept outside and far away from doors and windows. Never use a generator indoors. Hillsborough County urges all residents to remain patient and cautious as we all work together to recover from this storm. For the latest updates and all storm safety information, visit us at hcflgov.net/staysafe.
Here in Hillsborough County, when storms start to blow and danger strikes, we come together to face any challenge as a community, helping, supporting, and keeping each other safe. And when trouble hits our county, HCFL Alert is your #1 source for information. For storm preparations, evacuations, safety notices, and other vital messages, HCFL Alert is with you before, during, and after the storm. Signing up online is easy, and the information can be life-saving. To sign up, visit hcflgov.net/HCFL Alert so we know how and when to notify you about local emergencies. Hillsborough County residents know the safest way through bad weather is together. HCFL Alert will be there for you and your family and be your source of vital information in your time of need. Sign up today.
About 3 years ago, Hillsborough County made the investment to purchase 6 of these machines. This is run by a 5-man crew, and what it does is it basically fills a sandbag, stitches it, and then our staff stack them on the pallets. Hillsborough County recognized that, there was a growing demand from the community for these sandbags, and instead of having our residents come out manually fill these bags, we wanted to try to get ahead of the curve. So what our staff does is they pre-make these bags prior to an emergency operation. We usually have somewhere between 20,000 to 30,000 available at the beginning of an emergency operation. And this really just helps us get sandbags to the people who need them as quickly as possible.
So when you come to our sandbag site, what you can expect is to come through the entrance. We're going to have the majority of the public is going to go through our self-serve sandbag sites and fill their bags. But our citizens that are special needs and have a handicap placard, they're gonna come over to us and we're gonna load the sandbags for them. With loading the sandbags, keep in mind you're gonna receive 10 sandbags, approximately 50 pounds each. So please make sure that you have a vehicle that can accommodate a payload of 500 pounds. So during a storm situation, we experience extreme rain events. So what that sandbag will do, it will help you secure that seal of your doors or your windows, especially if you lived in the property for a while and you've noticed that. So if you're in a flood zone, then these sandbags will be perfect to assist in that.
Calm waters are a part of Florida's allure, but that can change quickly with the approach of tropical weather. Living in coastal areas makes residents susceptible to storm surge. Structures in Evacuation Zone A are at risk when storms threaten to push enough water inland to prompt an evacuation. Zone B is 11 to 17 feet above sea level, but homes here can lie up to 4 miles inland from Tampa Bay. A storm like Hurricane Katrina can push water to
Good morning. I'm Tim Dudley, Hillsborough County Office of Emergency Management Director. Thank you for being here today. And also joining me this morning, the Hillsborough County Administrator Bonnie Wise, Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister, and Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody, State Senator Jay Collins, Florida House District 64 Representative Susan Valdez, Hillsborough County School Superintendent Van Ayers, and Hillsborough County Fire Rescue Chief Dennis Jones, and Kim Self with Tampa Electric. As you know, Hillsborough County remains under a state of local emergency due to Hurricane Idalia. At this time, we have issued a mandatory evacuation order for Zone A, which includes homes in flood-prone areas and all mobile and manufactured homes across the county. While Idalia is currently forecast to make landfall in the Big Bend area to the north, this storm brings some unique and dangerous threats to Hillsborough County. The storm surge threat to our region from this storm is high. We are expecting the surge up to 7 feet and record flooding potential on the Alfaya River. Residents must understand this. The storm surge may be delayed through Wednesday. While it may look nice outside, when the rain ends, the threat has not passed. Do not go near the water until emergency managers issue the all clear. Please stay away from the water through Wednesday. I cannot stress enough the importance of being prepared, heeding our warnings. We are all together in this. Be prepared, stay safe, and thank you for your time. I now invite the County Administrator, Bonnie Wise, to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Dudley. I'm Bonnie Wise, Hillsborough County Administrator. And as Tim said, we are continuing to closely monitor Hurricane Idalia. As with all storms, there remains a level of unpredictability in the storm's long-range forecast. I want to reiterate these important messages. Regardless of what it looks like outside, stay away from the water, at least through Wednesday, until emergency managers give the all clear. At this time, Hillsborough County has opened 10 shelters. These include pet-friendly shelters, shelters for residents with special needs, and for those who require continuous electricity for life-saving medical equipment, oxygen, and other medical needs. We currently have 31 people in the special needs shelter, 113 people in the general population shelters, and 11 pets in our pet-friendly shelters. We expect many additional arrivals today in the coming hours. We have the capability to open additional shelters if needed. I want to emphasize that residents should use our emergency shelters as a last resort. We also want to remind people that evacuating does not mean going to Georgia or even across the state. It is always better to stay with family or friends who live inland in a safe location if you are able. Please use our shelters if you cannot do so. Go to hcflgov.net/stay safe for the latest information about shelters and all of the county's other Hurricane Idalia resources. Residents should also register for HCFL Alert, Hillsborough County's official public notification system for emergency alerts and other vital information. You can choose to receive messages by email, phone, and text in both English and in Spanish. Go to hcflgov.net/HCFL Alert to register. Hillsborough County's Disaster Preparedness Guide also provides valuable information about our shelters and more. It is available on our site in English and in Spanish and contains comprehensive information on how to prepare for any hazard. I also want to again share this information and this important phone number. Our main information line for the storm is 833-427-8676 or 833-HC-STORM. Again, that's 833-427-8676 or 833-HC-STORM. Hillsborough County continues to prepare for the storm's impacts. This includes staging fuel and heavy equipment across the county for removing debris and other post-storm work. The county's 5,000 employees work tirelessly when activated for an emergency like this hurricane, and we cannot do it alone. We continue to work extensively with our partner agencies. Our message to residents is this: have a plan and be prepared to execute it, and that might involve evacuating. Remember, it is recommended to move away from water and hide from wind to save lives. Storm surge is the greatest threat to life during the storm, and particularly this storm. If your zone is evacuated, I urge you to leave before the storm. Emergency responders will not be able to reach you once the winds arrive. As we know, let me reiterate, hurricanes are unpredictable. No one wants to see it take a turn, but they always can. It is our responsibility to mitigate all that we can to help ensure your safety. Please continue to follow updated weather forecasts, official government information, and media reports. Thank you for your time. I would next like to invite Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister to the podium.
Thank you, Madam County Administrator Wise. I don't think I can ever say it enough. When there's a declared state of emergency in Hillsborough County, how fortunate and how comforting we should all feel with Bonnie Wise at the helm and in the leadership role she has. Such an amazing partner, you and all the individuals that work with you in the county. I can't say thank you enough. Along with all the individuals behind me and the departments that they represent. It's being able to work with leaders like this that provide the resources, whatever this community needs during a storm. Thank you to each and every one of you. And finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank our Attorney General. I know her phone hasn't stopped and she probably hasn't slept in a few days. We worry about one county. She has to make sure that she's providing resources to all 67. And I tell her all the time that she calls me too much, wanting to know what our Tampa Bay community needs. She's in constant contact with me, wanting to know, what do you need? How can I help? Whether it's public service announcements, whether it's price gouging, when people are down in their luck and people trying to take advantage of another human being, which is absolutely the worst when you talk about someone taking advantage of somebody at their greatest time of need. Thank you, Madam Attorney General. Thanks for making the Tampa Bay community always feel so special. What is the Sheriff's Office doing right now? We're still working on evacuations. We're in those areas that we've asked to evacuate, that Zone A, those coastal airlines of areas that are going to be affected by this storm. We're out there asking people to leave, asking to keep your family safe and go somewhere else, because it's my biggest fear. It's the worst feeling in the world when overnight tonight, these conditions get so unsavory that even law enforcement and fire rescue, who will go out and face the most dangerous situations, we can't unnecessarily place their lives in harm because you decided to stay, and now the storm surge has come. Now that wind and rain has come and you're in a position where the power went out and you're power dependent, and we asked you to take you or your loved ones to a shelter and you decided to stay and shelter in place, which is your right, but realize it comes with tremendous risk. Again, there's no greater sinking feeling for you or us when you make that phone call, you call 911, and help's not coming. Please don't put you, your loved ones, or us in that situation. If you live in flood-prone areas, this storm's not going to be unlike any other. There's going to be some flooding, and it's going to be worse. We have a king tide. We have 4 to 6 inches of rain in a short amount of time that's trying to get out, and a king tide and 4 to 7 feet storm surge, and that could change in a moment's notice with this uncertain storm, water trying to get in. It's not going to present itself for any type of desirable conditions. Yes, the sun's going to come out tomorrow, and we're all going to think we're out of the woods. Let's get back to life. Let's get back to some type of normalcy. The conditions are going to be dangerous. Our deputies are going to be out there working with the county, closing a lot of roads. This isn't the time to be a risk taker. I think I can drive through it. I think I can make it down a road. I assure you, again, you don't want to be that person that you damage your car, or worse yet, you put your family at risk, because it only takes a few inches for that car to start having a mind of its own and traveling somewhere else. Please, also, I have to tell you about the health risk, how that water is dirty. This isn't a playground for our children who are off school. Don't put them or allow them to go play in this water. You'd hate to see whatever the tide of the undertow could be, along with just the germ-infested water as it's trying to vacate the area. Stay away from standing water. Shelter locations. Our superintendent has been phenomenal. We thought we may need to open up some more. He's been gracious, opened up 10 of his schools. That's pet friendly. Again, if your family's pet has pets, please, if you have some place to stay, but if it's a last resort, you need to go somewhere, please do so. We have 110 people at the shelter so far, rather low number, and that's good because I think people are taking advantage of other places to go versus the last resort and go to a shelter. So continue to do so. I want to take a moment just to thank our community. Thank you for heeding the warnings. Thank you for going out and getting the sandbags. I've visited many sandbag locations. It's great to see our community helping each other. It's great to go out to the supermarkets and seeing that they don't have tow trucks coming in because you feel that you need 50 pallets of water or 75 million rolls of toilet paper. I assure you that if the power goes out, it won't be for long. TECO and their partners are prepared. We'll get it restored. Please continue to be that good community partner and get what you need. It's not a time to panic. It's a time to be prepared. There's still time to prepare. Those items that you may need if you lose power for a few days, please go out and secure those items. Another thing we've been busy doing is our homeless community. We've been out making contact with them, trying to get them to seek the shelters, informing them that the storm's coming. Some of them obviously don't have contact with the social media in general. So we're going out making contact with our homeless and our homeless communities, trying to encourage them to go someplace safe. I don't think it can be said enough. Hide from wind, run from water. The thing that we saw and that we've learned from Fort Myers that people were okay with the wind and the rain is the storm surge that end up taking their lives. Keep you and your family safe. I'd also like to talk about 911. If there's a 911 emergency that you need to call, please, I encourage everybody to call 911. But if it's not an emergency, but you have a storm-related question, and there are a lot of questions, please don't hesitate to pick up the phone and call. But allow me just a moment to provide a better number for you to call so we're not tying up the emergency line for those individuals that truly need our help instantly. 1-833-427-8676. That's the Hillsborough County Citizens Action Line. Take advantage of that. We'll put that out on all our social media avenues. If it's not an emergency, please take advantage and make contact on that number so we can keep our 911 operators free. We'll bring in this evening our day shift for tomorrow. Will come in. They'll spend the night with us throughout the county. So we will be prepared. We are ready. I'm asking that you do the same for you and your loved ones. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. I think what the message you're hearing repeated over and over is regardless of where the eye of this storm hits along Florida's west coast, is this will be a major event. Whether that is directly surrounding where the storm hits or a related surge and storm affects, Florida has over 40 counties that are currently under a state of emergency. And time is running out to prepare and evacuate. And so as someone who witnessed firsthand the devastation, not just from where the eye hit, but from all of the surrounding areas that were affected from a very high storm surge, please heed the warnings of those behind me. What was most alarming was that there was a cutoff point where law enforcement and other first responders, fire rescue cannot get to you. When the storm is hitting, their lives are in danger as well. And so as I have spoken to emergency operation managers and sheriffs from around our state, and all feel very good and prepared, and they are so complimentary of the Floridians and public service members that are working around the clock to prepare. I'm confident they're prepared, but we need you to do your part. We need you to prepare now. That is the only way we will weather this storm, is if we are all paying attention, heeding the warnings, and taking appropriate action. I am proud to say, as someone who monitors price gouging and contacts with our office about Floridians that might be looking at an emergency as a way to make a profit, we are having very little contacts regarding price gouging, and that means a lot. And what it says about Florida sticking together and trying to prop everyone up instead of using an emergency. But I will say, as you heed evacuation warnings, as you're leaving your home if you are in a surge area or in a flood zone, be mindful of hotels and gas for extraordinary price increases. You can report those to our office by the price gouging hotline or by our No Scam app. We can follow up on that. We will handle that. You can let us know that information, but those investigations are going to take a backseat right now to your safety. So we need you to be prepared, pay attention. We will weather this storm if that is the case. And I will say again, and compliment all of the great leaders standing behind me, but those that are around the state that I have spoken with, they feel prepared, but they ask genuinely with passion, please pay attention and do your part. If you're asked to evacuate, please do so. And stay safe, Florida.
Thank you. We'll now open it up for questions.
So there's roughly 200 people or so in shelters right now. How much space do you have?
For what we currently have set up, we're prepared to initially receive around about 20,000, but we have the capability to scale up. Okay, I don't see any additional questions. One other important piece of information I did want to put out, that transportation is available. So if you're transportation challenged, that's not an issue if you need to get somewhere safe to one of our shelters. So you can visit Hillsborough County Stay Safe to look up that information, or you can go onto the Heart line. So we partner with Heart, Sunshine Line, and the school district to make sure all our citizens have access to critically needed transportation to get out of harm's way.
I did have actually one question. I'd be for Sheriff Conster. At what point is your point of no return? You will stop sending.
That's a great question. I know some have a cutoff. It's 40, it's 50. We continue to monitor. Last time we said that we wouldn't do it in more than 40 mile per hour sustained winds. In the south end of the county, we had an elderly female call. She was in distress. The power went out. She was oxygen dependent and having some type of episode. Well, the reason I'm saying it's a great question is because the winds change throughout the county. We could be in Carrollwood and we're at a different wind than the same that's holding true in Waimama in the south end of the county. So with us having such an expansive county, we'll continue to monitor that. It's hard for me to give you a number because I tell you, I told the deputies last time, please don't go, but I said, we're certainly not going to tackle them. 4 of them got in the lowest profile car. They went, they grabbed the elderly female and rushed her to the hospital. So I don't know if there's a particularly cutoff. I know people like to say a cutoff of 40, 50, but again, working with Chief Jones, we remain in constant contact. We know this will be an all-nighter tonight and going into tomorrow. And as the calls come out, we're in constant communication. What will you send versus what can we send? If there's any type of probability that we can minimize or mitigate the danger of sending someone, we're going to. Usually when you get around those 45, 50 mile per hour sustained winds, that's when Chief Jones and I will talk to each other and say, this is our stopping point. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to hold tight. We'll get there as quick as we can. And our district commanders, as we split the county up into 5, we're in constant communication, knowing that the winds are different. Yeah, we're okay here. Hey, we're not here. And said, if we can send somebody, be assured, between us and fire rescue, we're on the way.
All right, thank you all for coming. I'd like to thank the leadership, the teams out in the field, and the teams here that reported to the Emergency Operations Center that'll be here through the duration of this event. Thank you.